shoulders, says he feels disrespected by the way it was put together, saying, hey, I'm not the opponent. This is not A-side, B-side. This is a fight. We'll see.
I agree with that, Brian. You know, Glanton's got a good record. He's a smart fighter. He actually has a nice variety of punches, and he thinks a lot of himself. Now, that being said, Apochi does have tremendous power, but he makes a lot of mistakes.
Strong man, there's no question, and he was 288 as a nose tackle defensive end playing football, so he's trimmed down now to get under the cruiserweight limit of 200 pounds, but you can see the physique. So Efetobor Apochi normally comes in and he is the harder hitter, and he certainly has a little more thump, you would think. But Glanton is a very strong figure in that ring. But good right hand there from Glanton.
Yeah, Glanton put together a three-punch combination, and that's what he said. He pulls out with his head up. He makes too many mistakes with his hands, and he's going to take advantage of that. And the thing is, Glanton's got a 4-inch reach advantage as well against Apochi, and he's getting to him right now.
You know, I like what...
good combination there.
I like what Glanton is doing. He's actually coming back with a three-punch combination, and it works for him.
Both have a lot of knockouts. It looks like Glanton's a little bit more well-schooled. He knows what he wants to do. He keeps a tighter defense and a nice counter like that. See, so he's smart.
You're right. Fundamentally sound defensively and able to answer, and that is not what you expect from when you see a guy as a former football player in college. You see a lot of decent fighters come out having converted, but it's difficult to replicate that amateur pedigree. So
said Apochi thinks I'm a small man. He is mistaken, and he is in for a lot of trouble here tonight. Brian?
Heidi, thank you. Good points there. Very interesting in that Joe, you know, defensively responsible and putting together very good combinations.
You're absolutely right, because you think that Glanton, from just, you know, the amount of fights he's had, that he had some extensive amateur career, because it's very precision, his offense and defense, very precision-like.
Well, you know the reason why, because he studied the sport wisely. He's doing the right things. He throws his combinations. He's actually throwing his hook with power.
Now, Apochi's still dangerous. He can hurt you with one punch, and that can still happen. But right now, the slickster in here.
I like the way Glanton keeps his hands up.
Yes.
He keeps them up high. He's protecting himself. He's not getting hit with no silly shots, which is good. And his, you know, his repertoire and his left hook is great.
Did you see that counter left hook?
Yeah.
Right off Apochi threw a left hand to the liver, and Glanton immediately countered with a left hook of his own to the head. Beautiful.
And
good, hard-hitting cruiserweight action. Brandon Glanton.
Oh, man.
A pleasant surprise here. Answers with the hook. Opening 2 rounds as Brandon Glanton gets to work right away here. Answered now by Efetobor Apochi in the black trunks. He is in the black and yellow. Brandon Glanton in the black and red. As you see them firing back, fight in a phone booth. These are cruiserweights, both undefeated. And Brandon Glanton, who has struggled to get fights through his career, gets an opportunity. He said it's important when you get your shot, you don't blow it. And so far, Joe Lennox, he has really been impressive in these opening 2 rounds.
Extremely impressive, and Lennox is going to add to this. But I got to tell you, these two guys are...
After he throws his combinations, he kind of watches his work, examines his work, when he should be thinking about defense and moving. And I want him to be a little bit shorter. He's up too high, especially his chin's too high in the air, and he may get caught with a hook.
Well, and that's the thing, because Ronnie
Good body shots there by Apochi, and he was able to follow up as well with an uppercut, another uppercut, and a right hand from Apochi as he starts to let his hands go. Now he's asserting himself in this 3rd round. Apochi comes off a knockout in a what was no...
Your hands back because you're getting countered every time. So during the course of the fight, he's, I'm sure, going to get more and more advice as this goes along, however long it lasts.
A much better round here for Efetobor Apochi, who has been much more active. Much more success. First 2, it appeared, went to Brandon Glanton, who came in and showed immediately that he belonged in this ring with the rising star. Good body shot there, and then moving to the head. You know, I remember in the fighter meetings, fellas, we were talking to him, and Glanton had said, hey, look, Apochi will not take a step forward on Sunday. And I thought, oh, come on, man. Really? He's not going to take a step forward? So I followed up. I asked him, you really think you can fight on the inside with this guy? And he said, I live inside.
He does.
He's made all this happen.
Off balance, and there's another right hand left hook by Apochi. He's starting to get his punches in and gain some ground back that he lost.
No question, Joe. Yeah, that round 3 much better for Apochi. But again, this is the test. You're going to fight someone on the way up. That's going to test your will and your resolve. Apochi finding that now. Ronnie Shields in Apochi.
Right hand, which is great. This is what he needs to do. He needs to throw that left hook or body punch after that.
You know, a little less snap on the punches from Brandon Glanton now.
Absolutely.
A little less oomph. They're not as crisp as they were early going.
Absolutely. And I'll tell you what, Apochi's starting to land a little overhand right. He's starting to bring the right hand up the middle a little bit. But here comes Glanton. You know, he'd be smart if he went to the body a little bit more and then went to the head.
You wonder if Brandon Glanton has enough energy and enough stamina to stay in this fight. Fought very well so far. Cuban amateur star against the unbeaten junior middleweight from Culiacan, Mexico. And right here, though, we've got a real fight. Good cruiserweight action here. Efetobor Apochi in the black and yellow. Brandon Glanton in the black and red. They have gone back and forth. You see how close it is with the punches landed. And I wonder, Brian Kenny here with Lennox Lewis and Joe Goose and rings.
What happens when he does get hit with that best shot from Apochi? But right now, it's still a very competitive fight, and Glanton is still doing a lot of good work here. But Apochi just seems like he's gaining confidence right now. And your point is
that was
well
a hard
taken.
thudding right hand from Glanton, but it's a lot. It's not as crisp as it was earlier. Glanton, though, we would see if he can keep that energy rising. Lennox, how do you see it so far? What are you reading from there at ringside?
Yeah, I'm saying that Glanton is keeping his hands up nice and he's moving forward. He's not really getting hit no solid shots right now. And I like the way Apochi is throwing a lot of punches. You know, this is, you know, sometimes he relaxes too much and leaves his head a little bit high. What he needs to be doing is just bending down a little bit and keeping his hands up, just like Glanton.
We're seeing good.
He'll wrap that right hand around your arm or straight, or he'll bring the right uppercut. He's really right hand heavy. Like that, you got to keep your hands up.
And Joe, there's a right hand that slaps right off the head of Glanton. And Joe, to your point, a good uppercut from Apochi. You mentioned how...
This is a big round for Apochi right now. If he can make us...
Apochi looks a little
on the
bit
attack.
Yeah. Apochi's playing possum.
Moving in with the uppercut. Still able to move his head. Glanton moves in, throwing to the body. Hard right hand to the head. Apochi countering with the right hand. He's still dangerous.
I like when Apochi throws that.
Like the composure of Efetobor Apochi. After he was knocked down for the first time in his career, he survives, and now he's able to fire back. Go ahead, Lennox.
No, I was saying I like how Apochi throws that right hand when they're both against the ropes, because he's really throwing the right hand to knock Glanton into the ropes so he can move to the rest of the ring.
Oh, my God.
Glanton in the deepest that... Still able to move his head.
But Apochi's unbelievable. He's taking these shots, and he's still got the presence of mind to throw great shots like that right back.
And move his head.
Come on, move your head. Bring that right hand down a little.
Oh, boy.
Firing back with three-punch combinations.
Apochi's catching Glanton coming in as he throws the right hand. They're both trading right hands at the moment.
You're going to be a hard press to see.
Glanton now moves his head a bit, but he's able to land with a thudding right hand. Now Apochi is the busier man, letting his hands go. Glanton moves in to get another right hand. Now he's got Apochi pinned on the ropes. 1 minute left in this round.
Oh, great left hook by Glanton.
Big hook by Glanton. Able to duck an uppercut from Apochi.
Beyond the fight of the year right now. I don't know how you're ever going to top this year. This is a great fight. Great fight.
Apochi promised action, drama, war. And we thought, oh, come on, don't be so dramatic. No,
right.
He was right. War through 8 rounds.
But I think Glanton surpassed all of our expectations.
And let's take a look back at previous action. Grazing hook from Glanton. And then the right hand as we start round 9. Apochi with the slight advantage. 2 rounds to go. And it's, you know, I don't want to say who wants it more, but who has more stamina for these last 2 rounds?
That's exactly right. It is who wants it more. Because right now, I mean, you don't know how the score is going. I think Glanton's ahead right now, but, I mean, Apochi has never taken himself out of this fight. You got 2 rounds left, and I got to tell you, and then Brian, last thing, they may be cruiserweights, but they're really hitting like heavyweights tonight.
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt. The hands come down from Apochi. That's dangerous. A 3-punch combination.
Like what Apochi's
Marcos,
doing.
thank you. So he's got it wide for Glanton, but again, it could be reasonably close. You know, some of these are tough to score. Marcos, though, again, if you just give benefit of the doubt and 2 or 3 extra rounds, you can have it wide.
Oh, man. How are these guys taking this?
Sock'em action here in round 9.
And we're not talking about feather-fisted guys. These are knockout punchers taking it. So they got rock-solid chins, which is amazing, and huge hearts.
And you know, Glanton said in the fighters meeting that he's going to be...
Each get to take a breath, and let's see how we do.
Oh, my goodness. Oh, wow.
Glanton lands a hook. Gets Apochi in the corner. 3-punch combination from Brandon Glanton. Another combination.
But look at Apochi. He just brushes
Apochi
it
moving
off.
back, but he's firing. Digs into the body on his way back. Uppercut.
But I got to tell you, I hate it. I hate it.
Let me tell you, there's so much sweat in this fight. Nothing can keep sticky right now because it's wet.
No. There's a way to beat that,
So
Lennox.
much at stake here in the 10th round.
Anyway.
They are dead even in punches landed. Look at that, just for a moment. Dead even. Glanton to the body, and Apochi takes a big step back and looks like he lost his footing.
And it looks like they're both immune to getting hurt now. They're both landing huge shots, and there's nothing happening anymore. Because they're used to it. Better believe it, he's landing some really good shots. And Glanton's putting on the pressure. Landed a good right hand right there, Brian.
Wow. That rocked him. That came right off his shoulder and moved Apochi over. Of course, as you pointed out, he refuses to be hurt, but his whole body moved.
Unbelievable. You're not going to jab, and it made Apochi drop his hands and stop for a second. Here we go. We got 30
nice
seconds
little combination
left.
there from Glanton as well. Yeah, Glanton with a nice combination. Apochi fires back.
Man.
We wondered if Glanton would have the stamina, given the way he came into this fight. Hasn't been very active, not against pro-class competition, but he has proven himself worthy against an unbeaten fighter who is becoming a star.
This is it right here.
Let me tell you.
15 seconds.
Let me tell you, I wouldn't be surprised.
Glanton's wobbled. Can he stay on his feet? That could mean a lot. Maybe he can't afford a 10-8 round. Apochi wobbles Glanton in the final seconds, but Brandon Glanton.
Split decision. Here are the score totals. Judge of ringside, Nelson Vasquez, scores the bout 96-93 in favor of Efetobor Apochi. Judge of ringside, John Mariano, scores the bout 95-94 in favor of Brandon Glanton. And judge of ringside, Mike Fitzgerald, sees the action 95-94 in favor of the winner. He is still undefeated. Bulletproof, Brandon Glanton.
You hate to see either guy lose.